I should have left the moment she locked the front door, but I didn't, because I had no idea that behind one of those upstairs doors was a secret she'd been hiding for 3 years. And somehow, I was at the center of it. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Have you ever trusted someone too quickly? Now, let's get into the story. I had only been living in that neighborhood for about 3 months. It was one of those quiet suburban areas where everyone smiled, waved, and pretended their lives were perfect. I worked remotely, so most days I stayed inside my house, staring at a laptop screen. Honestly, life was getting pretty lonely. Then, one afternoon, I saw her. She was standing in the driveway of the house next door, struggling to carry several grocery bags. Long blonde hair, bright green eyes, the kind of smile that instantly made you forget what you were doing. I walked over and offered to help. "Need a hand?" I asked. She looked up and smiled. "Only if you're offering." That was the moment I met Emily, and from that day forward, everything changed. Over the next few weeks, we started talking almost every day. Sometimes, it was just a quick conversation while checking the mail. Other times, we'd spend an hour sitting on our porches, talking about life. She was funny, smart, kind, and somehow, every conversation felt effortless. For the first time in years, I found myself looking forward to tomorrow. One evening, while we were talking about favorite foods, she laughed and said, "You know what? You should come over for dinner sometime." My heart skipped a beat. I tried to act casual. "Yeah, I'd like that." And she smiled. "How about Friday?" Friday couldn't come fast enough. For the next 3 days, I felt like a teenager preparing for his first date. I bought a new shirt, got a haircut, even cleaned my car, for absolutely no reason. I was nervous, but mostly I was excited. Maybe this was finally the start of something real. Friday evening arrived. As the sun disappeared behind the houses, I walked across the lawn and knocked on Emily's door. She opened it wearing a simple black dress, and honestly, she looked stunning. "Right on time," she said. The smell of homemade food drifted through the house. Everything felt warm, comfortable, perfect, at least at first. Dinner was amazing. We laughed, shared stories from our childhoods, talked about our dreams. Hours seemed to fly by. For the first time in a long time, I felt completely happy. Then something happened. Something small. Something most people probably wouldn't have noticed. But I did. As Emily stood up to clear the dishes, she casually walked toward the front door and locked it. Click. I remember hearing the sound clearly. At first, I didn't think much about it. Maybe she locked it every night. Normal, right? But then she walked toward the back door and locked that too. Click. A strange feeling settled in my stomach. I tried to ignore it. Still, something felt off. When she returned to the table, she smiled. Yet somehow, that smile looked different. Forced. Almost nervous. "Everything okay?" I asked. She froze for a second, then nodded. Of course. But her eyes told a different story. And that's when I started paying attention. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more emotional stories every week. Now let's continue. A few minutes later, Emily excused herself and disappeared upstairs. I sat alone in the dining room. That's when I heard it. Crying. Soft, quiet, but definitely crying. My heart started racing. I stood up. "Emily?" I called. No answer. The crying continued. I followed the sound toward the second floor. Every step felt heavier than the last. At the end of the hallway was a closed door. The crying was coming from inside. I hesitated, then slowly reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. When I opened it, I couldn't believe what I saw. The room was covered with photographs, hundreds of them, every wall, every corner, all of them featuring the same man, Emily, and him, smiling, traveling, celebrating birthdays, living what looked like a perfect life. But then I noticed something else. Newer photos. Photos of me. My stomach dropped. There were pictures of me leaving my house, walking my dog, checking my mailbox, even sitting on my porch. I felt ice run through my veins. What was this? Who was taking these photos? And why? Suddenly, I heard a voice behind me. I was hoping you wouldn't see that. I turned around. Emily was standing in the doorway. Tears streamed down her face. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, she looked at the floor. The man in those photos was my fiancé. I stayed silent. She continued. "We were supposed to get married." Her voice cracked. "But 3 years ago, he disappeared." I frowned. "Disappeared?" She nodded. No goodbye. No explanation. Nothing. The pain in her eyes was real, raw, heartbreaking. I spent years waiting for him to come back. She wiped away tears. Then one day, I realized he never would. I glanced at the photos again. "Then why the pictures of me?" Emily took a deep breath. "Because when you moved in," she paused, "you looked exactly like him." I felt my chest tighten. Exactly like him? Suddenly, everything made sense. The attention, the invitations, the constant conversations, the way she looked at me sometimes, not like she was seeing me, but someone else. "I know it sounds crazy," she whispered. "I wasn't trying to hurt you." The room felt unbearably quiet. I just wanted to feel that happiness one more time. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to leave immediately. Part of me felt sorry for her, because standing in front of me wasn't a dangerous woman. It was a broken one, a lonely person holding on to memories she couldn't let go. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I didn't invite you here because you reminded me of him." I looked at her. She smiled sadly. "I invited you because after a while, you stopped reminding me of him." My heart skipped. She stepped closer. "The truth is, I started liking you for who you are." Neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke. Then she laughed through her tears. "I guess I messed that up." I couldn't help smiling. "A little," she laughed again. And somehow, the tension disappeared. For the next hour, we talked honestly, really honestly, about loss, loneliness, fear, and healing. Things neither of us had shared with anyone else. When I finally stood up to leave, Emily walked me to the front door, the same door that had terrified me earlier. She unlocked it, then looked at me. "I understand if you never want to see me again." For a moment, I stared into her eyes. Then I smiled. "How about we start over?" Her expression softened. "Start over?" I nodded. "Hi, I'm your neighbor." For the first time all night, her smile looked genuine. "Hi, I'm Emily." And just like that, a night that began with fear ended with hope. Today, 3 years later, Emily is no longer just my neighbor. She's my wife. The photos from that room are gone. The past no longer controls her life. And every now and then, we laugh about the night she invited me over for dinner, then locked the front door. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more emotional and unforgettable stories. And remember, sometimes the people carrying the heaviest pain are the ones smiling the brightest. See you in the next story.